Most people think that it's a given that either Canada or the US will win the gold, but each team has their advantages, giving them a chance to win. Italy. Number one advantage, home soil. The Italians chose to not go after players with more NHL experience, instead opting for more familiar players. If Italian fans can bring their soccer supporter atmosphere to the hockey arena, they will provide a boost to their countrymen. Italy may be short on talent, but definitely not on support. Could the Italians put a scare into Slovakia or Germany? Perhaps with some outstanding goaltending and a bit of luck, they just might. The X factor is the crowd and the team's belief in itself. It's unlikely we'll see Italy playing in a medal game, but competitive games on home soil will only further crowd support, and the belief in upset is possible. France. Number one advantage, veteran experience. The French have one NHL player on their roster, a man with 700 NHL games and 2 Stanley Cup final appearances to his name, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Turning 41 at the beginning of March, Bellemare finding the fountain of youth would be a major development for France. No one is expecting much noise from France, but if Bellemare gets any playtime with Alexandre Texier, it could reunite the veteran. Bellemare will most likely be France's go-to player for key face-offs, their top penalty killer, and a net front presence on the power play. He has remained a reliable defensive player throughout his NHL career. He'll be relied upon to make life difficult for players like David Pastrnak, Kevin Fiala, and Connor McDavid in the preliminary round. France is not in a great spot, but Bellemare doing a good job in his role would go a long way toward keeping games close. Latvia. Number one advantage, goaltending. Latvia has 3 quality goaltenders, including a goaltender with high-level performance at the Olympics in Kristers Godlevskis. Both Elvis Merzlikins and Artur Silovs have NHL experience. Both North American-based goaltenders are likely to be called upon to backstop Latvia in the preliminary round. The team in front of them is likely to give up scoring chances and a high volume of shots, meaning the goaltenders will be relied upon to provide stability and keep Latvia in striking distance. If the goaltending can find magic, they can put a scare into teams in the quarterfinals. The Latvians have been performing well at the junior level. Though the Olympics are another beast, their national spirit and ability to stay in games because of goaltending and pesky playstyle could lead them to an upset or two. Denmark. Number one advantage, scoring wingers. Frederik Andersen is going to be the guy in goal. Denmark should have the best goaltender in every preliminary game except against the United States. If Andersen plays well, it'll go a long way towards Denmark making it out of the group. However, Denmark's X-factor is scoring wingers. Nikolaj Ehlers and Oliver Bjorkstrand will play in every key situation for the Danes, and both are capable of driving play and scoring. Ehlers has the speed, skill, and vision to create scoring opportunities off the rush and the cycle, and he should be the key setup man on the power play. Bjorkstrand should be the key marksman, and he will need to score at even strength and on the power play. Both players will have elevated roles compared to what they do on their NHL teams, and they'll be relied upon to create offense. Slovakia. Number one advantage, the kids. Slovakia has 3 young standouts who will definitely be the core of its Olympic roster for years to come. Šimon Nemec, Juraj Slafkovský, and Dalibor Dvorsky are brimming with talent, and each of them possesses a different making ability. Slovakia's best players are the young players who will play a bigger role than they do for their NHL clubs. If any games go to overtime, best bet would be on Nemec, who has already scored multiple overtime winners at 3-on-3 in the NHL. He is a game breaker on the back end who will figure prominently in Slovakia's top 4, and he needs to be at his best against tougher opponents. Slafkovský has found his game as a power forward in the NHL and has been excellent for Slovakia in international play. His two-way ability and willingness to use his body to lean on opponents in the name of creating offense should make him a difference maker. Dvorsky is the least known of the 3, but he has a ton of one-on-one skills and a shot that could beat any goaltender. Dvorsky is also a shootout option, which is important in Olympic competition. Slovakia's success at the Olympics is likely to be directly tied to the performance of the country's young stars. Germany. Number one advantage, Hart Trophy candidate. Lucky for the Germans, they have one of the top 5 players on the planet in Leon Draisaitl. Regardless of any opponent, he is a scoring threat. He has the ability to go end-to-end and make the world's best defenders look pedestrian. He does it quite often while playing for the Edmonton Oilers. Draisaitl is absolutely the most important player for the Germans. Along with Tim Stützle, he is expected to play major minutes and produce the team's share of offense. He's also excellent defensively. If the Germans get good goaltending and Draisaitl is at his very best, the Germans can beat some of the superpowers of the sport. The key will be managing his minutes to ensure he remains at his peak for the duration of the tournament. Switzerland. Number 1 advantage, the Devils. It's no secret that the New Jersey Devils haven't had the season they intended to, and 3 Devils will be hoping to propel Switzerland to a medal. Nico Hischier, Timo Meier, and Jonas Siegenthaler play a major role for the Devils, and they will need to drive play for Switzerland too. Siegenthaler is going to play a major defensive role, likely to be tasked with major minutes behind Roman Josi. Hischier will draw the toughest matchups, play on both special teams, and be expected to mitigate the offensive outputs of opponents. He will be the key face-off man, in which he'll need to excel for the Swiss to execute face-off plays in the offensive zone to set up Meier and Niederreiter. Unfortunately for Team Switzerland and the Los Angeles Kings, Kevin Fiala will be out for the rest of the season. He was injured in a game against Canada. I saw the game live, it was brutal. Meier is a power forward who has been good while wearing Swiss colors. His ability to power through defensive coverage and create space for teammates will be critical to creating offense required to win games as the tournament moves along. If the 3 Devils are at their best, Switzerland is going to be a tough out. If they're not, the Swiss will struggle against Canada and the Czechs. Czechia. Number 1 advantage, Lukas Dostal. Earlier this season, Dostal was firmly in the Vezina Trophy conversation. Perhaps no goaltender is more prepared for the Olympic role than he is. The Anaheim Ducks play a run-and-gun style, trying to outscore their opponents while bleeding scoring chances. Czechia is better defensively than the Ducks, but the Czechs will need that elite goaltending performance to withstand the onslaught of scoring chances that are likely to be generated by opponents. Dostal may never get his chance if Czechia decides to use Dan Vladar or Karel Vejmelka as the starter, but Dostal is the most capable of being a difference maker for the Czechs and has the best high-danger scoring chance save percentage among the goalies on his team. If he plays to that level, he can backstop the Czechs to a medal. If he never gets his chance, the Czechs could be looking at a quarterfinal exit. Finland. Number 1 advantage, UC Saros. Finland faces an uphill battle to contend for gold without their best player Alexander Barkov. Fortunately for them, they do have depth with players like Sebastian Aho, Rup Hintz, and Anton Lundell as the top 3 centers. Finland is the beneficiary of excellent goaltending. Saros is Finland's most talented goalie and at his best can steal games. His best is among the best in the world. Behind a capable defensive unit like Finland, Saros can be a difference maker. This will be the most skilled team Finland has brought to the Olympics. But the defensive game will not suffer for it. If their goaltender can be their backbone, Finland should be considered a medal contender. Sweden. Number 1 advantage, Elias Pettersson. Injuries have hit the Swedes hard and their depth is being severely tested. There is no time like the present for Pettersson to step up for his country. He hasn't been the same player for almost 1.5 years, but at his best, Pettersson is a power play dynamo. He is also a reliable two-way center that can make a difference. He still has the talent to beat goalies clean from various areas of the offensive zone. If it happens, it will significantly boost the team's possibility of succeeding. Sweden knows what they're getting with William Nylander, Joel Eriksson-Ek, Philip Forsberg, and Mika Zibanejad. If Pettersson doesn't find his form, Swedes' injuries could set them back. Pettersson finding his old form would provide a significant boost for Sweden, one likely needed to contend for gold. The United States. Number 1 advantage, the goaltending. The Americans are going to need their goaltenders to be at their best after those puzzling decisions of leaving some of their best goal scorers at home, specifically Cole Caulfield and Jason Robertson. The Americans have the best collection of goaltenders at the Olympics. Whether it's Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, or Jeremy Swayman in goal, It will need to be Vezina caliber goaltending to win gold. All three goaltenders have had their ups and downs. When they perform well, they are Vezina level and Hart Trophy level in the case of Hellebuck last season. That makes this trio the ultimate X factor in the tournament. Those three men are the difference between a gold medal and not making the gold medal game at all. In a country that has been locked in on beating Canada in a best-on-best tournament, those three will determine the direction of the discourse through the next Olympic cycle. Canada. The number one advantage? The cream of the crop. When a country has the ability to leave the likes of Connor Bedard and Evan Bouchard at home, you know it's some serious depth. While those decisions raised a few eyebrows, Canada is likely to have Selke caliber talent on the fourth line, a luxury no other country will have. Canada may be deeper, but their best players at the peak of their powers are still the best in the world. Sidney Crosby was at the peak of his powers in 2014 when Canada won gold, his second. Now he's still one of Canada's best, but he's aided by Nathan MacKinnon, Connor McDavid, and Cale Makar, who are at the peak of their powers in 2026.